Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday morning to each and every one of you all on today. I don't know why this is up here. I did not put this up here. There we go. All right. Happy Monday morning to each of you. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Good morning. Good morning, Angelique. Thank you for joining me. Hey, listen, thanking God is a new day. Thanking God that it's an amazing time that we live in. Yeah. Good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning, Siobhan. Good morning, Christina. Thank you for jumping on with me for a few minutes this morning. I got something to talk to you about, and I think it's going to be good. Listen, I'm waiting on a few other people to jump on. Would you do me a favor and go to Psalms 119 or Psalm 119, verse 4 through 6? Psalm 119, 4 through 6. Put that up. Psalm 119, 4 through 6. Good morning to Noah. Good morning. Thank you so much for jumping on today. Psalm 119, 4 through 6. I want to talk to you about commitment. Commitment. Paul said it in Romans chapter 1, verse 16 through 17. He says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel. It is the power of God unto salvation." Now, the reason I had to jump into Psalms 119, 4 through 6, because it's such an amazing psalm that I believe that can connect to what Paul said. Paul looked at the culture. Paul understood that being a Christian was not the most popular thing, but Paul still says, I don't care what culture says, I'm still committed to the process. If you're committed, just type committed, committed. Yeah, commitment. What is commitment? Let me define commitment for us. Commitment is when we persistently apply the right attitude, the right actions, and attention to achieve a desired dream, goal, or purpose. Yeah, and so Psalms 119, 4 through 6 says, you have charged us. God, you charged us to keep your commandments carefully. Oh, that my actions would consistently reflect your decrees. Then, as Paul said, I will not be ashamed. My actions has got to reflect what my mouth been declaring. Y'all, that is so rich. Your mouth has got to reflect what your mouth has got to reflect what you have been. I'm sorry, your actions has got to reflect what your mouth has been declaring. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got a little tongue tied. Your your actions must reflect what your mouth has been declaring. He says, "Then I will not be ashamed when I compare my life with your commands." I wanted to talk to you about that because I think it's interesting about commitment. Yeah, commitment. Yeah. And so we find ourselves many times in what we like to call conditional commitments or conditional situations or conditional relationships that are based off of what a person does or what a person does not do. But God's faithfulness to us is unconditional. Somebody said God's faithfulness to us is unconditional, but we also have to have a mindset or the mindset that our relationship with God is non-negotiable. Our relationship with God has got to be non-negotiable. If you're in the chat, just type non-negotiable. Yeah, it's got to be. We got to be committed to serving God, not just when it's convenient. Yeah, but we have to do it consistently. Let me say this again. We got to be committed to serving God, not just when it's convenient, but we have to do it consistently. Yeah, and we live in this culture where it becomes so convenient that many of us have forgotten the true value of consistent effort. Being consistent. Yeah, we've gotten to the place that we're not like Paul. Paul says, "I'm gonna be consistent in doing what I do," but many of us are too inconsistent. Yeah, we're inconsistent in so many areas of our life and not committed in any area of our life. When you are consistent and committed, progress happens. You know, I heard Bishop Jake say something that really just kind of like checked me. You know, he says sometimes we're getting the results that we are getting is because we've never really thrown our whole self into anything. Um, because if you threw your whole self into into it, you would have different results. And I think many times we do a little here, we get motivated to do a little bit there, we get motivated to do it over here, and yet there's no consistency with it. But yet we are expecting massive and fruitful results. This season, I think we had I had to repent and say, God, forgive me for the things that I was inconsistent in. Forgive me, God, for the things that I maybe just got motivated here, but didn't get motivated there. God, help us to be motivated through and be consistent throughout our entire life. We got to be consistent, and so that this is the quality that helps us to feel more accomplished in our day-to-day life in a time now where we live. And so things are so easily accessible, where things are now on an app, things are online. And when you look at your own life, what is a time where you had to practice consistency even when it was inconvenient? And so, have God ever given you a plan of financial wealth, security, yet your bank account tells you a different story? You're like, God, I know what you said, but I don't see this. Yeah, but that's when you got to remain consistent in the actions and sticking to the plan. I need somebody to type it in the chat. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Sometimes God will say something to us. God will speak a word to us, and it goes contrary to culture. It goes contrary to your current condition, and so you're saying, God, you said that this was going to happen. I don't see it happening. but just because you didn't see it happen, not that God can't turn it around immediately. God can do anything, but you got to stick to the plan. You got to follow the instructions. You got to stick to the plan, and not deviate from the plan. Yeah, stick to the plan. I hope this blesses you, because a life of convenience waits to make things happen. But a life of consistency is hard because it makes things happen. Yeah, yeah. Let me say it again. A life of convenience waits to make things happen. But a life of consistency is hard because it makes things happen. Some things are convenient and not what many of us would choose. But being consistent is what's going to get me the results. Let me say this again. Being consistent is what's going to get you the results. I need somebody to put this in the chat. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Listen, I want to go back to what I just said about God. Just because you don't see it today, don't mean God ain't working. Sometimes God is working through the night. Yeah. And sometimes as he's working through the night, there's timing involved. And so if you quit now, if you just get discouraged and say, hey, I don't see what's the use, I think you'll end up missing what God's trying to bring your way. You'll end up quitting in the journey when God has already sent the help, and the help arrives, but you walked away. So when the help shows up, the help is like, I know they were supposed to be at this corner at this time, but they walked away. Yeah. And so you can talk that you're consistent all you want to, but as I just told you to put in the chat, talk is cheap. Come on, y'all. Talk is cheap. You can say whatever you want, but talk is cheap. Yeah, yeah. Convenience is the talk, but the consistency is the walk. Let me say this again. Let me rewind the tape. Yeah, convenience is the talk. Yeah, it's easy to talk big when it's convenient for you. Yeah, but the consistency, it is the walk. Yeah, I'm not just talking this thing, but I'm actually walking it. Come on, because you get what you pay for. Come on. There's a cost that comes with being committed. Let me say this again. There's a cost that comes with being committed. There's a cost that comes with being consistent. Yeah. He says in Psalms 119, 4-6, God, you have charged us to keep your commandments carefully. Now, that word charge is not like you're going and you have a credit card charge or to pay a bill. It means God says, I specifically gave you an assignment to keep. You gave us an assignment to keep, God, to keep your commandments carefully. Oh, that my actions would consistently reflect your decrees. Then I will not be ashamed. When Paul says, for I am not ashamed, Paul said, my actions has been reflecting what I've been saying. That's why I said talk is cheap. Because listen, if you're not willing to walk it out, and some of us have walked this thing out and currently walking it out, we've not yet arrived. We are, Paul talked about moving from faith to faith, glory to glory. Yeah. At some things we're believing God for, then we get there, we celebrate. But then we're believing Him for the next, and then we get there and we celebrate. Because it is always a faith journey. We can't say at 3:00 this is gonna happen. That's gonna blow my mind. That's gonna be great. If it does, phenomenal. But we're believing God, and as we're walking and believing God, we don't know when, because that ain't my problem. We just know what He said. We know the what. Yeah, there are three things that I want to say here, and that's charged, careful, and consistent. Charged, careful, and consistent. Yeah. Write this down. When I'm charged, I have no other choice but to succeed. When I am charged, I have no other choice but to succeed. Yeah, there are two types of charges, and I hope you write this. If I'm charging at someone, then that's a relentless approach. Even if you're charging someone in court, you are submitting to the law. But when you charge, you have no other choice but to succeed. I need somebody to put that. I got no other choice but to succeed. This season, when Paul says, I am not ashamed of the gospel, it is the power of God unto salvation. Why? Because God had already charged Paul to succeed. Can I say this? God has already charged you to succeed. Yeah. Can I say this next part? There are certain people who you just cannot be around whenever you get committed to God. When you really get committed to God, certain people you can't be around. Why? Because I'm careful in this season. Somebody please type that. I'm careful in this season. I'm making sure that I'm making a conscious decision. Yeah, because of my commitment to God. Yeah, because I want to be consistent when God looks at me. I don't want to be inconsistent. I want to be careful with everything that is around me. But number three, I want to be consistent. All right. I want to be consistent. If I commit to the things of God, doing the things that God has called me to do, whatever you have committed your life to, whatever you have made a conscious decision in, it will not be in vain. It will not be in vain. Why? Because I'm charged, I'm careful, but I am consistent. Those are three qualities I want in my life. Is there anybody that says I want that in my life too? I want these three qualities in my life. I want to be charged to succeed. Because listen, when God built you, He already factored in your DNA that you were going to be successful. So God said, I charge you to be successful. I charge you to fulfill your assignment. Yeah. Yeah. I love what Paul says at the end of his life. He says, for I have finished my course. I finished my, listen, that's enough to shout and tear the church up by itself. Paul said, I finished my course. I was charged with an assignment and I completed what God told me to do. Yeah. Success looks different in different people's eyes. For Paul, success was completion of the assignment. For success for somebody else is a mass of material things. But for Paul and for some people, I just want to be successful in what God gave me to be and what God gave me to do. I just want to be successful in who God made me to be, and I want to be successful in what He gave me to do. All right. So three qualities I want in my life. I want to be successful as I'm being charged, but I got to be careful. I got to be careful about the atmosphere I put myself in. I got to be careful because some atmosphere, can I say this and I hope you receive this? Some atmospheres are not healthy for you. Yeah, maybe you're around smokers and you're trying to be delivered from smokers. Yeah, I can't be in this atmosphere. Listen, you say, oh, well, how can you change people if you're not in there? No, some things are a trigger for you, and you need to distance yourself from that. Some people are a trigger for you. When you cool before you get around them. And every time you get around them, when you leave their presence, you're in a whole different kind of funk. You just in a mental funk. You're like, what in the world? You know? You drive away, you walk away, you go in a whole nother room, and now you feeling like, why am I depressed? Why am I? Because you have placed yourself. You were not careful this season. Be careful of who you put yourself around. Be careful of every text message that you respond back to. Be careful about every call that you're taking. Be careful. Can I say this? Be careful because of certain environments you walk in. But sometimes you just need to say, God, before I go to work today, and some of you have no other choice but to go to that job. But before I go to work, before I clock in, before I talk to that first customer, let me pray. Let me consult you, God. Let me have a conversation with you so that I can be in a good mental space. I got to be careful because, listen, I got to be careful that you don't get into the core of who I am. I'm talking about environments. All right. But number three, I want to be consistent. I gotta be consistent. I gotta be consistent. Yeah. The whatever you do when you are consistent won't be in vain. Why? Because I'm charged, I'm careful, and I'm consistent. The reason it's not in vain is because the difference between dreams and reality is consistency. Let me say this again. The difference between dreams and reality is consistency. Yeah. Yeah. Convenience is about making announcements. Consistency is about producing results. I hope y'all heard this today. Let me say it one more time. Convenience is about making announcements. Yeah. Consistency is about producing results. Did y'all catch what I just said? Let me say it for the person in the back of the room. Convenience is about making announcements, but consistency is about producing results. Stop making announcements and make adjustments. I hope y'all catching this today. I hope you're catching this today. If this is blessing you today, just type this is good. That's all. Just type this is good. Yeah. Paul said it, I'm getting to get out of here. Paul said, I'm so committed to the things of God. I'm so charged. I'm so careful. Paul says that literally it's the power of God. And when it's the power of God, I'm careful not to give everything away. You know what? I got to go back and talk about Samson for a second because Delilah wanted to know where the power was, and Samson kept putting her off, but he kept putting himself back in the same environment. There are some environments that's trying to take from you. It's trying to take from you. There's certain environments trying to get you to act out of character. Listen, I ain't got to tell nobody what the power of God is. I just need to operate in what God told me to do, and the power of God is going to be present. They trying to understand where it comes from. Can I say this? The power of God is going to come from your prayer life. The power of God is going to come from your worship. I'm not talking about on Sunday morning. I'm talking about what you've been doing all week. Somebody say committed. One of the signs that you have Conditional commitment is when you don't share God with others. I said this yesterday. Paul was so committed in sharing that one theologian says, I have to wonder if you really even knew God in the first place. Because if you know God, it's not just to know God, but when you come into a relationship with God, it's now to share God, not just know God. This ain't a private information you got to keep. This ain't no secret. No, the gospel is not a secret. The gospel is public information. Come on, y'all. It's public. Yeah. Yeah. He says you got to share the gospel with somebody else. Introduce people that are close to you. God is a gift that you should not keep to yourself. Somebody put that in the chat. God is not a gift that I should keep to myself. God is a gift I should share with others. God is not a gift I should keep to myself. He's a gift I need to share with others. Yeah. Whenever whenever you understand that, I think you function differently. Yes, let me go back and say this. He's a gift to you, but he's a gift that needs to be shared, needs to be passed on. Why should I keep it all to myself? No, you said, listen, I got this because if I give you some of the God in me, I ain't gonna have enough. He is an unlimited supply God. I said something yesterday. Is that what we're going to be believing God for around Holy Week and Easter is rush. Somebody type rush, R-U-S-H. Dr. A preacher, prominent preacher said this, and I thought it was good. Rush is releasing unlimited supernatural help. Releasing unlimited supernatural help. Somebody just type rush in the chat. Yeah, yeah. And when you talk about rush releasing unlimited, I'm stuck right there. Unlimited. There's no limit on God. If you gave, if you encourage somebody, you know what I used to have a mentality is, well, if I preach this good word, then I ain't gonna have no other word for the upcoming month or the upcoming week or that Sunday. I remember years ago I was preaching everywhere, and so I said, if I preach this word, well, I ain't gonna have no word for this on it. And God had to check me. He said, keep reading. There's so much in there from Genesis to Revelation. You'll never be able to preach all of what I want to give to you. You'll never be able to give it all. Why? Because God says, I have an unlimited supply of it. Hey, listen, I hope this has been of a blessing to you this morning. Devotions are not supposed to be this long, deep theological thing that we're supposed to go through. They're supposed to be pick-me-ups, things to help you get through the day, things to help you ponder on. And I want you to go back and ponder on Romans 1:16 through 17. Because when we get to Romans 1:17, I'm sorry, 18 and above, we're now talking about some things that God's going to really help us to mature and grow. Because now we're talking about maturity now. Paul gonna get us to maturity. On the other side of 17 is maturity. Hey, listen, I can't wait to share with you more. Yeah, somebody just says releasing unlimited. Anybody believe in God with me? Can I do something real quickly? Can I get 20 people to just type rush? If you're going to believe God with me, I'm believing God for 10 new converts that's going to be baptized that's going to give their life to Christ on Sunday, but then be baptized the Sunday after Easter. Yeah, just type rush. If you believe in God with me, I need 20 people. I need 20 people, y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, share this live. Keep talking to somebody. Releasing unlimited supernatural help. I'm trusting and believing God for 10 new converts. 10 new converts for Easter Sunday morning. God give us more than that. I'm just like jumping up and down, kicking and grinning. But I'm believing him for 10. I'm trusting God for 10. Releasing unlimited supernatural help. I gotta be charged, gotta be careful, but I also need to be committed. Hey, y'all, go out and make it a fantastic day. Do something great in the kingdom. Share the gospel. Listen, if you want to do something great, share the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's going to be the greatest thing that you can do this season of your life to help to help move the needle. This season, help move the needle. Don't be stingy and keep God all to yourself. He's not a God to be kept just to you. He's a God that wants to be shared with the world. Have an amazing day. I love you. I pray God's richest blessings on you. I'll see you at our next devotional. Have an amazing day. This bless you, just type, this bless me. Bye-bye.